Hey guys, Devin here with the Mountain Life team. We've got Chad, Doug, Christy, Noah. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hey, everyone.
We're excited, guys. The year is over. 2023 is in the books. We're here in 2024. We're here to talk to you about what happened in 2023. It was a great year, and what's going to happen moving forward into 2024. You guys excited?
Yes.
We are excited.
So let's chat about. Let's chat about 2023. What happened? What were some of the highlights of 2023? Some of the stories. What's been in the news, and what more importantly has affected your clients here on the mountains?
I would say one thing that has been both in the news and affected the clients is interest rates.
Okay.
Interest rates were up. They were higher. They still weren't high. I remember when they were 13%. That
And
was
that was a
nuts.
deal.
Yeah, that was
That was the deal.
You were happy to get it.
20%.
Yeah, you were happy to get that. But the good news is in 2024 they do seem to be going down. So hopefully will continue as a trend.
Yeah, and talking with some of our lender partners, it seems to be that that's the story right now is that rates are coming down. I did just get an email from one of them, and then the FHA right now is sitting just over 6%, which is something we haven't seen
Yeah, that's great.
in a little while. So that's good news.
I think it'd be interesting to see, in election year, there's always some things that are a little bit unexplainable, if you want to know the truth. So they are anticipating that feds could potentially lower as many as 2 to 3 times this year. So the interest rate. So we'll see.
So
That's
go ahead.
that sounds like good news, but it's also a mixed. There's two sides to that coin. When the interest rates come down, we'll have a flood of people come into the market, which could drive pricing back up. Some.
Less
So-
negotiating power.
Yep.
It seems
Yeah.
like I feel like right now, with the hope that the interest rates are going to go down, like right now seems like a really good time to try to get in because you can negotiate, you can work on the price, and you can always refinance later. But it seems like right now is
Well, not to mention
Time to-
inventory
well,
is a little bit more plentiful
yes,
right now.
much higher.
And like you said, great point from both of you guys. The buyer frenzy is not there right now. So you've got more selection, less competition. So right now, before we enter into the spring market, could very well be an excellent time to be looking to buy in the mountains for
The
sure.
time to buy is always now.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's never the wrong time to buy the right house, right? And if we look back at 21 and 22, at how crazy that market was and multiple offers and well above asking price and all of that, well, that seemed to have quelled over the past year. However, what hasn't quelled is the rising price. So now couple the rising price with an opportunity for rates to come down. I mean, put two and two together. I mean, what do we think is going to happen? So these are all excellent opportunities and conversations we should be having.
Noah, how many clients have you had that said, "I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down"?
Too many to count.
Yeah.
They're all
It's a
coming
growing
down.
theme.
Yeah.
So what's your response? What's your conversation? Because they're looking to you for guidance, right?
Yeah, I mean the conversation's different with each client, of course, but in general, I try to explain kind of what we talked about here. It's never the wrong time to buy the right house. And I know like people get freaked out by the interest rates that are a little higher than when COVID hit, but again, like Doug said, they're still not high. And right now, you can get such a better deal by buying without competition. And then when the rates fall and everyone else floods the market, then you just refinance.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the conversation I have. If you can bite the bullet for, let's say, a year with that interest rate, more than likely it's coming back down and you can refinance and get the place you want at the price you want. So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't want people to be house poor, right?
Right.
They've got to be able to pay their bills. Yeah, a little bit higher on the interest rate for a couple of years beats out 50 grand over ask price all day.
And again, it varies based on each person. So some people genuinely can't afford the house anymore at 2% more, and I understand that. So that's a different conversation. But by and large, up here, people we work with are often investors or retirees, and they're able to kind of flex a little bit higher for a little while. So.
Yeah.
I like the phrase that was going around there for a while, date the rate, marry the house,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can always come back and refinance later, to Noah's point. it's never the wrong time to buy the right house. You can always refinance and because rates are going to come back down. They're going to go back up again.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is.
Absolutely. Just like the stock market goes up and down all the time,
Mhm.
date the right, marry the house, never the wrong time to buy the right property. So I think that's a good message in unison that we can kind of share right there.
Absolutely.
If you need a home and you're looking for the right property, you find something you love, buy the house, right? As long as it's not going to put you in a financial situation that you're not comfortable with, it's going to benefit you in the long run with everything that we're seeing.
Mhm.
So the other conversation we had a lot last year when we sat down, we had these talks, we had a lot of conversation around inventory because in the beginning of 2023, it was still pretty low.
Yeah.
Well, looking at December numbers and year-to-date numbers and all of that, now it's sitting between 4 and 7 months as opposed to 1 and 3.
Right.
How does that affect the conversation we're having with clients here in the mountains?
Well, we talked about month supply of inventory on videos before.
Mhm.
But generally, lower month supply of inventory means seller's market, higher means buyer's market. And so, like you said, once we're getting into, like in Gilmer, or Fannin rather, they're almost 6.5 months. Whereas before, when all this was going on, we got down to 14 days.
And Fannin County's Blue Ridge.
That's Blue
Yeah.
Ridge, that's right. So it's really, we've seen this shift in the past year from a strong seller's market to a buyer's market.
Mhm.
A lot of the year we're kind of in between, but now we're definitely in a buyer's market, especially in Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
Buyers hold a lot more leverage, and again, that's why we're saying buying now is the time versus waiting till everyone comes up and the sellers have all the leverage again.
Like, absolutely. I mean, you think back to those years of multiple offers and all of that, when that seemed to be the norm, and your average list to sell price was over 100%.
And your
Well,
days on market were much lower.
much lower.
Yeah.
And we're looking today, at 94.8%. So today, over a year and a half ago, somebody's getting about 7 to 8% better on the sales price.
Right.
Mhm.
Just to look at 2022 compared to this year, inventory at 3.9 to 6.4 in Blue Ridge, right? So that's a heavy statement right there on
Yeah.
where
Right.
we are. And it goes back to that story that we were telling in the first place. If you can buy now, do it.
The reality is the Wild West days are behind us now. The Wild West days of COVID and then low interest rates and, elbowing your way to the front. And from the seller's perspective, days on market are increasing. So it's going to take a little longer
Mhm.
to get the right person into your home to buy it. But at the same time, there's a better opportunity in the present.
Well, not just necessarily taking longer, but we've talked about this before. It was going from a speed-based market, now it's in a skill-based
Skill-based,
market.
yeah.
So with your listing agent, with your buying agent, it's no longer who can get me in the house first or who can come see my house first. It's who can best represent me and get me the best deal.
And we can.
Yeah. We're definitely shifting back to skills versus speed, which
That
speed can be a skill as well, but
it is, yeah, picking up your phone,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I think that's a really great point that you bring up and that people might not understand is when they hire a real estate professional.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of realtors in the country.
Sure.
Are we all created equal?
No.
Probably not. Right. And there's no good, bad, right, or wrong about that. It comes down to who are you going to mesh with? Who are you going to feel comfortable and confident with that you're going to be able to achieve your goals here in real estate? So ask questions, talk to your agents, figure out if they're going to be a great fit for you and make sure that, hey, they're on top of the market and what's happening. That's why we have these conversations.
Something else I just wanted to point out as we're talking about like days on market, I have noticed in the past couple of weeks a lot of listing agents saying motivated seller, motivated seller, motivated seller because they are sitting a lot longer. And again, that just leads to the buyer's market that Noah was talking about and us getting in and getting some better deals for people.
I love an MLS description as the buyer's agent that says motivated seller because
Yeah.
they tip the hand,
Yeah.
like
That
so,
means don't bring me your best offer.
I mean, for the first time in a long time, we're starting to see buyers being able to make requests that sellers are
Right.
willing to negotiate on. Whether it be repairs, whether it be concessions on price, things of that nature,
costs.
and some closing costs. All that is now starting to come back around. So that's another great thing about getting in now per se is to when the market maybe who knows, if interest rates go down, that could create that frenzy, and we're moving right back to where we were. So it's definitely getting back to what I would call a normal market,
Yeah.
and moving out of that Disneyland market that we were in before.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the buyers and how it benefits them.
Mhm.
So that's not to say it's a bad market for the sellers.
No.
So how do sellers win going into 2024?
Again, I think it ties to finding an agent with the right skills to properly sell your home. Even though the days on market have gone up,
Mhm.
that is affecting the market as a whole. But if you have an agent who's marketing well and pricing your home appropriately, you will sell it. As long, I mean, your home still has to be in condition to sell as well. I mean, it's not like, uh, you know, you could just sell a piece of junk, but if it's priced right, you still could sell it.
Yep.
So appropriate pricing and skill base from the listing agent is huge.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's educating our sellers to let them know that there has been a slight shift in the market, and pricing right now is going to be absolutely crucial. Let's just put it out there and see what I can get price. That market's gone.
Yeah.
Now you have to really analyze the market, look at your comps, and price it accordingly. And one might say even aggressively. I mean, you don't really want to in a market that could, go one way or the other. You want to make sure that pricing is spot on where it needs to be, so that your house is the prettiest on the corner. It's got the lipstick, it's got everything it needs ready to go, and it's going to be the most attractive to all the buyers that are out there right
Yeah.
now.
And that's a conversation with the seller too. Each seller's needs are different, and if they have to absolutely get the absolute most they can out of a place, maybe you go for, this is the furthest I could stretch with my CMA, with my market analysis. But then if there's a seller who wants to make sure they sell it quickly, like you said, maybe you don't quite price at the top, you come in a little lower to get, plenty of showing, get people ramped up and competing against each other. And like one we just listed this past weekend had multiple offers within the week.
Mhm.
So it still happens if
Mhm.
if you hire the right agents.
And as we said on the buy side, interest rates come down, there will be more buyers
Right.
for your home as the seller.
Yeah.
More opportunity.
And price hasn't slowed, right?
Right.
Right.
To me, I mean, tell me if you guys differ in the opinion, but this market mirrors 2019 very well. 2019 was a great market.
Mhm.
It was until we knew what 2020, 21 would look like.
Right.
2019 was a great market.
Yeah.
This is still a great market for buyers and sellers. And the interesting fact about what you said is that the market of put it on and let's see what we can get is gone. Well, now we're back into the skills-based market. I remember back in 2019 pricing homes below value to get the highest offer instead of putting it on the market now in today's market, and you're probably going to take less than you could have got initially.
Yeah.
Because it's going to sit.
Sure.
People
Yeah.
are going to think, what's wrong with it? And it's going to be used to sell other homes.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a broader view of things helps as well. Sellers sometimes can say, "Oh, I'm not. If we don't price it as high, I'm not getting as much as I could have."
Mhm.
Instead of looking at, "Well, I paid 200 for it, and now I'm selling it for 500 instead of 530." Is that still a win? And I would say yes, it is. But
I think the other thing about having a normal market, it just seems better for everyone. When it's crazy like it was, like that's just an emotional roller coaster for everyone. And who you don't really want to be a buyer that you're putting offers in and you're not quite making it each time.
Yeah.
And you're losing all of these wonderful opportunities. And it's not easy to always find like the right house for exactly what you need. So again, back to marry the house, date the rate, because you don't want to play that game and lose like the perfect house for you because you've waited until everybody's just rambling back and forth over prices.
Well, and just to multiply that thought, especially in North Georgia, where we are, we don't have the luxury of having massive subdivisions of the same homes.
Right.
Yeah.
These are all different. They're spread out geographically, time frame wise. You know, this isn't your Atlanta suburb.
Right.
So when you find a perfect home as a buyer, like, I found it.
yeah,
You don't
And
want
it's not as easy as going next door,
yeah,
Mhm.
right? So great point. Love that.
There's also the reality that we're very much a second home market, and a lot of homes being purchased are being purchased with cash.
Mhm.
So the interest rate doesn't always play into the process.
Sure.
There's still a lot of cash purchases.
Very large amount of cash
Yeah.
purchases.
What was
That's pretty.
Am I wrong? It's like 65% of what we've done. Ish,
It
around there.
well, certainly toward the last quarter, we were looking, and it was almost 70%
Yeah.
just in the last quarter of our transactions were cash. So crazy.
I wonder if the interest rates being up has driven more cash into the market.
Could have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we talked about sellers, we talked about buyers, talked a little bit about how it's going to affect agents. How do you think it's going to affect industry as a whole going into 2024? What do you think is going to be the big change in our industry in 2024?
Brokerage agreements.
What does that mean? Explain it to me like I'm a 3-year-old, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So the brokerage agreement is the pretty much agreement for us to be on the same team. It's the agreement that I work for you and you work with me, and we work together to find the right place.
Now, is this something new or is this something?
No, it's been around for a very long
Okay.
time. It's only starting to become new to some agents. I guess they're a little more prone to looking into it because of the lawsuits that are going on. Sellers claim to have been made aware of where commissions were going and stuff like that. So it's much more prevalent this year.
Okay. And how is that going to affect how you do business and how your client does business with you?
Well, I think more people will get their buyers teamed up with them through a BBA. I know a lot of times people were waiting or didn't ever sign one. This will be very beneficial for both parties because it protects the agents, but it also gives the seller and the buyer, someone they know they can depend on and someone they're tied to and linked with to be working together. So,
Gotcha.
I think it also gives them as a client the just more education. Like they sometimes people go into buying and selling their house with someone and not pay very much attention to
Yeah.
what they're doing. And I think this, us focusing on those and working and making sure that the clients are understanding exactly what they're signing. It's a better education for everyone, and it's a better situation for everybody.
Yes. Full transparency is always
Full transparency.
always the best way to go. Full disclosures. But yeah, I mean, in your point, you were talking to the agents, but it's also, it's been an awakening for a lot of consumers. The lawsuits that are taking place across the country have really, taken a lot of precedence in the news and all that. And it's just, I think, well, I won't get into all that I think it is, but it has brought a lot of awareness to our profession, and to Devin's point, I mean, it really doesn't change a whole lot of the way we do things. It's just going to put a lot of more emphasis on um, agents being the professionals that we should be and that we are. And you wish you could say, like you said a minute ago, not all agents are created equal, but those that work hard and put in the time, energy, and effort to better themselves, educate themselves, and to be the best agent to represent their clients throughout the transaction to make sure that they, well, not just they, but all parties to a transaction have the best experience that they possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, and just discussion around the buyer's agreement and the broker agreement there. As you as the consumer, if you're watching this, it's an important question to ask. If you're not being given a brokerage agreement, I'd probably question if that's the right agent for me. And there's no good, bad, right, or wrong on how an agent decides to do business, but this is the law, right? This is something we should
Right.
do,
Yeah.
and this is something that is designed to protect the consumer. So that would scare me a little bit if your agent's not presenting it. So ask great questions. Make sure that the agent is in line with your goals, yet also treating you as a client, not just a customer.
Yeah. Which is a huge difference.
It very well is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Just like it's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. So ask those questions, be in the know. And if you have any other questions, I'm sure any of us would be happy to answer any questions about brokerage agreements.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts 2024, 2023.
It's gonna be great.
I think so.
I think it's going to be an incredible year. Even typically election years tend to, mess with the market just a little bit, but I think there's a lot of anxious folks on how the election is going to turn out, and I believe that those in Washington are going to make sure that we have an incredible year. So I'm looking forward to it.
Say,
Yeah.
awesome.
Agreed.
Well, Devin, the Mountain Life team,
All right.
Chad, sorry,
No.
Chad, Doug, Christy, Noah. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.